Hey everyone, and welcome to the second session on OER, focusing on Greenville Technical College's new OER awards. I'm Tara Weeks, the Director of Learning Resources in the Libraries, and I have Michelle Rubino with me that most of you guys know as our Head of Instruction. So we're going to tag team a bit and show you around the awards and some collections. So first, I wanted to point you to a very helpful resource and the application for this thing from the library's homepage. You're going to go to Research and Research Guides. And then you can search here, or in our alphabetical list, we have an Open Educational Resources Guide. So from here, you'll see lots of stuff that we're going to get into. I'm going to actually start with the last tab, which is GTC OER Awards application and information. So first of all, you'll want to note that the application deadline to be considered for these is October 31st. And a little bit about this, these awards were funded by Pascal, which is the partnership among South Carolina academic libraries. And specifically, they have a project called SCALE, and it's their affordable learning initiative. We actually were awarded $4,000. So what we've done is break that down into two different award levels to pass that amount on to you guys to incentivize and reward you for putting in the work for replacing traditional and inclusive access course materials with either materials from the library through our Pascal shared collections or open educational resource collections. So we have 8 available for $250 and 2 available for $1,000 for actually creating or remixing items, and I'll get into some of those definitions here in a little bit. So we do have some award criteria in case we get overwhelming interest in this, which we hope we do. So you'll see part of the application is we want to know an estimated cost of the materials that you're looking to replace with these free materials. Or open materials, and then also the number of students that are enrolled in your course sections that we're looking at. Next on this page, you'll see some timeline information. As you see right now, we're in this August to October timeline with lots of professional development opportunities. There's a pre-course to this one, kind of an intro to open educational materials, the importance of it, the impacts it can have on students. And then, of course, you're in this second session. Again, October 31st being the deadline for this. And once we choose awardees, that will happen in November and December. We'll really start getting into consultations and collaborations towards the end of fall semester, and especially in the spring, where we are here to help you navigate collections and textbooks and videos and interactive plans and anything that meets your course and student needs. And then basically looking to have that incorporated into a syllabus and get you the award amount distributed towards the end of spring semester in May. And my contact information as well as Michelle's. And again, just want to show you the application is very simple. We want to know who you are, how to get in contact with you, what course we're looking at, and what sort of cost savings we're looking at, as well as which level that you're interested in. And again, I'm going to explain some more about that. As I mentioned, this is in partnership with Pascal's SCALE, South Carolina Affordable Learning Initiative. So I want to take you to their website for some more helpful information, particularly on adopting and creating OER. So this is going to get into some of those definitions. As you see, there are kind of 5 R's of open education are retain, reuse, remix, revise, and redistribute. So there's information here to kind of get you started, particularly a little bit more on adopting OER. So adopting is essentially taking these materials that are already out there, again, either things that Greenville Technical College Libraries has bought in our collections or subscribed to, likewise for Pascal, or these broader OER collections that we are going to dive into. So adopting is simply taking these materials that are already out there, they've already been licensed with the purpose for you to use them in your classrooms. And that's simply all you do is find what meets your needs, incorporate them, and we give you $250 for doing that. So the next level is creating OER. And again, this could be completely starting from scratch and picking things from different places. It can also mean just remixing is one of those words that they used, which means modifying it in some way to make it meet your needs. So some information there. And then there is a stipulation if you go for this $1,000 award level of creating or remixing and kind of piecing together your own OER, is that we want you to have that redistribute piece. We want you to share these out with open licensing for others to use. So there's information obviously about copyright, particularly this open licensing gets you some more information if you wanted to poke around. But again, this is something that as we get into the consultation and collaboration phase this spring, we will certainly make sure that your intellectual work in there is represented how you would like. And the biggest thing is Pascal would like to put your materials on their website to share them more broadly. But of course, we encourage you to share them in other places like the OER Commons, which is South Carolina Technical College System's preferred provider. So a little bit more of the levels and definitions there. I'm going to bounce back to Greenville Technical College's OER page and point out that there's a second tab on evaluating OER. So this has a lot of helpful information as you're starting to look through the collections. And a lot of this is what you're already doing as instructors when you're evaluating course materials. So there's certain criteria to look for. I do want to point out this content was developed by BC Campus. And this link also has really good information and rubrics. So you've got an actual rubric here, again, some criteria, and particularly there's checklists to think about, evaluating course materials from a faculty standpoint, from an administrator standpoint, as many of you guys will have to get approval for this curriculum change, and of course, a student checklist for evaluating materials. So now that I have given you a bit of an overview and pointed you to things to explore on your own as you're considering embarking on this award journey with us, I'm going to turn it over to Michelle and show you the kind of things that are available for your course.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will look through a number of the available collections together. So on this Open Educational Resources page, we will click on General Collections. There are a number available here, but please notice under Resources by Subject at the top, you can hover, you can drill down to resources specific to any given topic. But again, for today, I'll stay in these general collections, and I will click on OER Commons down toward the bottom. And this we found out is favored by the SC Tech system. So under Subject, I will click on Career and Technical Education. Educational level is helpful here. Not all of our collections have this, but here we can say that we want community college level materials. I'll click Search. And then if we look on the left, much like any of our databases or resources, there are facets to narrow things down. So I will choose Culinary Arts. And then we can look at our list of available items. So under each, we have their rating, tells you their subject, what material type you're looking at, where it came from, the license, and the date it was added to this collection. Once you find something you're interested in, you can click on the title to open it, and then scroll for a bit more information about it, and then click to view the resource. Again, here we have a bit of information about the textbook, and below the image, it gives you multiple different ways to download the book. So your students have options here. If you scroll further down, you will see the table of contents. Notice at the top, you can click adopting this book. It gives you a bit of information about it, and this one actually asks you to register using their adoption form. And the reasons are below that in the paragraph. It will allow them to stay in contact with you and let you know if any adapted copies have been made available. Going back to that table of contents, you can scroll to see your different chapters. And this is helpful because perhaps you're only interested in one of these for your class. You don't want to use the entire textbook, which is completely fine. You can click on that heading, open to the information you're interested in, and then you can use the web address up at the top to link directly to this one chapter in your Blackboard course. I'll go back to that general collections page, and this time I will click on Merlot. And here I will search for art history. So here we can scroll again. We have our tools on the left to narrow things down, and under every entry, we have similar brief information about it. So what material type, who is the author, the date it was created, added, peer review, and then its user rating. So we have a bit more rating information here. So I will scroll a little further, and I will click to open this art appreciation course. Again, we can scroll to see a bit more information about it. This one is an entire hybrid or blended course. And I will click to go to the material. We can see this was created at East Tennessee State University. And then we can scroll to see PDFs of the different lessons in this course. But please notice above that information, it says this was adapted from existing resources as part of East Tennessee State University's Open Educational Resources Awards program. So many of these available items have been developed through these award programs. So this is growing. I'll click on one of the PDFs to open information about the lesson. We have the option on the right to download. And then we can scroll and see information about adapting it. They give you a recommended citation. And then at the bottom, it gives you your presentation file, a reading list, and then a suggested assignment. So you've got an entire course here. And again, you're welcome to remix these. So if you just want one piece of any of these given courses, you're completely welcome to use those. Next, in these general collections, I will go to, let's do the Open Textbook Library. You can search the library up at the top, but I'm going to browse by subject. I'll click on engineering and then choose electrical engineering. And then as we scroll here, again, information about these different books. Some of them will give you ratings, and I will click to read more about this one. So again, we've got information about the book, we've got a starred rating, we've got the table of contents up at the top. Underneath the book image, we have multiple different formats that are available. And this one you can choose to purchase a hard copy. So I'll click where it says hard copy. And we can see this is paperback and it runs anywhere from $11.50 to about $14. There is also a Kindle option for $3.50. We scroll down further, we'll see information about the book, about the contributors, and then we can go ahead and read those reviews that have been left by other faculty members. Also available here sometimes are ancillary materials. So if I click on the link that's given, we have a wealth of information that's available. So different lessons, lab manuals, workbooks, other items. And if we scroll further, this one even has recorded lectures that are available on given topics. So not only will these items give you just a textbook or a course, they will give you all of the supporting materials you might expect with any other course from a different provider. The final collection we look through will be MIT's OpenCourseWare. And all of these are courses from MIT. You can search up at the top or use the tools on the left to narrow down. So this time I will pick undergraduates. I will pick health and medicine. And then you can narrow further if you would like. But here I will just open the introductory biology course. And then over on the left, you can see your syllable, your scheduled calendar. There are lecture videos, recitations, assignments, different readings. And we can see these actually come from a specific textbook, but that doesn't mean you have to use that textbook. You can supplement with other materials. Take a look at those assignments. So here we have problem sets as well as solutions. Go back to that main list. And there is one more book here, or I'm sorry, a course here I wanted to show everyone. Interesting, when I searched for this morning, it was there. Not sure why this is happening, but we'll just roll with it. The reason I wanted to share it is when you went to that readings page, it gave you an entire list of articles versus a textbook. So that will segue in what I want to segue into what I wanted to show you next. So close out of here and go back to the Open Educational Resources page. Then at the beginning, Tara mentioned that you can also use library resources for your readings. So I will go to Library Home. And on our homepage, I will just search for welding. Over on the left, I'll click Available Online. And it looks like we have some films available about this. So if any of these are suitable, we can click Available Online. Click on the database name to open them. And then if the video found or the article found is something you want to link in your course, down below the view screen, you can click where it says Share, click Embed/link, and you have a stable web address for this video. Something to notice here, when you find articles or videos or ebooks in our collections, please don't use the address that you see in the address bar. It's a temporary link for this web session only. So somewhere on the page for all of our articles and database items, you'll see a little link that looks like a chain link. You can click on that and find the stable web address for any of these items. But again, we have faculty right now who are looking at library items to do all of the readings and information for their courses. So you don't have to do one specific OER textbook per se. You can get creative with how you put these courses together. So I will go back to the Open Educational Resources page, go back to the awards information. And then just remind everyone that the deadline for application is October 31st. We understand this can be a little bit intimidating, so please feel free to reach out to me or Tara or any of our librarians. We can walk through these resources with you, help you navigate, help you put together a reading list that you can then use for your course. So please reach out if you have questions, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.